Update 2. I returned from the hospital after my surgery to find my ramp gone and a fresh patch of concrete where it used to be. My neighbor stood there, arms folded. It was lowering my property value, he said. I couldn't even get inside my own home. 3 weeks later, when he stepped onto his porch, he saw something that made him freeze. She just listened, said nothing for a while. Then she said something that stuck with me. He's always been like this. Controlling, self-righteous. Our dad enabled it. And by the time he got older, there was no changing him. I didn't say anything. I'll talk to the lawyers, she said. He's not going to drag me down with him. 3 days later, a for sale sign went up in front of Mark's house. Not the small kind. The big professional kind with a banner. Motivated seller price to move. That same day, I got a knock from City Code Enforcement. They were there to walk through the property lines and take more photos. The official, an older guy named Nolan, paused and looked at me. Never seen a neighbor file this many complaints and get away with it for so long, he said. You cracked something open? Wasn't trying to, I said. Just wanted my damn ramp back. He nodded. Sometimes that's all it takes. But Mark wasn't gone yet. That night, close to midnight, I saw a shadow near the edge of my yard. I keep a motion light over the porch. It clicked on. And there he was. Mark, standing by the edge of his lawn, staring at my house. He didn't move, just stood there. Then slowly he walked up to the ramp, placed one hand on the rail, not forceful, just resting it there. His face was pale drawn. He didn't see me watching through the curtain. He stood there for almost 5 minutes, then turned around and walked back into his house. After that night, he stopped showing up altogether. No more midnight stares. No more pacing by the edge of my yard. Just silence. His car sat untouched for a week. Windows fogged, dust on the roof. The porch light stayed off. Trash cans never moved. Just a folded sheet of lined paper yellowed at the edges like it had been sitting around for years. I stood there for a long time before opening it. There were only 5 sentences. No greeting, no name at the bottom. I didn't think you'd fight back. You were always quiet. I thought that meant you'd let it go. I was wrong. You made everyone see who I really am. My hands shook as I read it. Not from fear, from something worse. Recognition. He had finally said something close to the truth. And it was the most unsettling thing of all. 2 nights later, an ambulance showed up. No, just lights spinning silently across the street like red and blue ghosts. I stood at my window, heart caught in my throat. Paramedics went in. Came out 15 minutes later. No stretcher. Just a clipboard. They didn't take him. I walked outside to the mailbox an hour later and ran into Officer Tanner, one of the local guys who patrols the neighborhood. He was standing by his cruiser scribbling something. What happened? I asked. He looked up, surprised to see me. He called in a panic, he said. Said he couldn't breathe, but by the time they got there, he was sitting on the couch perfectly fine. No symptoms, no medical emergency. Just wanted someone to show up. Is he okay? Tanner hesitated. Between you and me, I think he's unraveling. The house didn't sell. Buyers came. Some even walked through, but word had spread. Between the legal mess, the city citations, and the whisper network of neighbors who had finally started talking. Nobody wanted the headache. Mark's sister returned, spent 2 days cleaning, hauled out bags of old paperwork, boxes of God knows what. I saw her standing in his driveway once crying into her phone, and that same day a notice went up in his window. Property under city review, occupancy pending inspection, which meant one thing. He was being forced out. Then a final twist. I got a call from the city records department. They said there was something odd in the permit history tied to my property. Apparently, 2 years ago, before I ever needed a ramp, Mark had tried to file an easement adjustment, quietly shifting our shared property line 2 feet into my yard, just enough to affect legal access for a future sale or remodeling. It hadn't gone through, but he tried. I stood in my kitchen, staring out at his dying grass, realizing this wasn't about a ramp. Not entirely. He had been planning something for years. The city came down hard after that. Turns out the attempted easement shift, plus the fake permit for my ramp, plus all the other complaints, had triggered a full zoning review, the kind that takes months and pulls in every department: housing, utilities, records. They were untangling years of quiet sabotage. Mark's name was on every form, every forged complaint, every outdated lot diagram with little red pen. Mark's moving lines, shortening setbacks, adjusting access, all neat, all subtle, all meant to push other people back while giving him a few extra feet of control. He hadn't just hated my ramp. He hated that the world didn't move around him. I heard from Margie again, then Frank, then the young couple down the block. All of them had found weird discrepancies in their property lines or past city documents. All of them linked back to the same thing. I was just the first one who had something visible, something public, ripped out. That's why it hit so hard when the city finally posted the sign. Notice of pending repossession, Administrative Code 41.6 violation. He hadn't just lost the sale. He was losing the house. And then one night, quiet with no lights, no sirens, he was just gone. A moving truck showed up. Took maybe half his things. No one saw him. The blinds were drawn. The porch dark. The truck left before dawn. The house sat silent and hollow like it was finally tired of holding secrets. That weekend, I walked past his porch. The ramp they'd installed. My ramp was still there, clean, bolted. The surface still good, but the door behind it was locked for good. I stood there a long time, thinking about how much time I'd lost. How much pain it took for people to believe me. How the thing that helped me survive, just a ramp, had almost become the reason I couldn't live here anymore. I didn't touch the ramp. I didn't take a photo. I just turned around and walked home. Sometimes I still catch myself glancing across the street, expecting to see him standing there like before, arms folded, judging everything. But all I see now is a quiet porch with no lights and a ramp that leads to nowhere. And I think about how easy it is for someone to take something from you. Not just space or comfort, but dignity. The real damage wasn't the concrete or the stairs. It was knowing that someone saw me struggling and chose to make it harder. This is where our story comes to end. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, share, and follow. Thanks to all for your support.